Hello. If somebody asks me which is the most important module of all the modules here, I'll say this is the module that is about preparing the schedule. So we started our training by talking about project initiation. There we spoke about creation of a project charter, and we were operating through a statement of work. And then we came out with a stakeholder register. Then we got into planning. The project manager guided the project into planning, and there we spoke about elaborating the scope, the high level scope into a detailed requirements document, and then decomposing that document into a work breakdown structure. We spoke about work packages. Then we decomposed those work packages into activities, and then we sequenced them based on their dependencies and arrived at the network diagrams using activity on arrow diagram and activity on node diagrams. Now we are getting into schedule. Schedule is an agreement between the project manager and the team on a particular sequence and timing of performing the activities of the project. So it is between the project manager and the team members. It's an agreement between the project manager and the team members. Now, one question that may arise here is, okay, should I share the schedule with everybody under the sun? As per PMBOK, you need not, because for senior management, if you're giving a copy of the schedule, they may end up doing micromanagement. So from a senior manager's perspective, you need to track a project only at a milestone level, and the project manager stops exercising control at a work package level. And between the team and the project manager, you have an agreement that is nothing but the schedule. In order to arrive at the schedule, we spoke about two types of network diagrams: activity on arrow and activity on node. And then we said activity on node is the most widely used because it is the most scalable. And the steps involved in the network analysis is, on the activity on node diagram, first you do a forward pass, and then you arrive at the early start and the early finish. Then you do a backward pass, you arrive at the late start and the late finish. And float is equal to late start minus early start, or late finish minus the early finish. So for activities on the critical path, we'll always have zero float. Activities on the critical path is the longest path on the network. That means if you connect all those activities whose float is equal to 0, you get the critical path. And the activities on the critical path cannot slip. If they slip, the project will slip. We can create multiple types of schedules. Like if you create a schedule based on the optimistic values, then we call it as a optimistic schedule. If you create a schedule based on pessimistic values, then it is a pessimistic schedule. And if you create a schedule based on most likely values, then it is a most likely values. And if you create a schedule based on early start and early finish values, it is an early schedule. And if you create a schedule based on late start and the late finish values, it is a late schedule. So we may create all these schedules. Sometimes, okay, I may create 3 schedules: optimistic, pessimistic, and the most likely. And I may give the optimistic schedule, which is the most aggressive, to the team members, and I may provide the pessimistic schedule to the senior management, and I will keep myself the most likely schedule. That means I'm creating a buffer at every level in the schedule. And when during project execution, or even while preparing the schedule itself, I may optimize the schedule using fast tracking and crashing. Crashing is all about putting more resources into an activity so that the duration can be compressed. That is crashing. And fast tracking is all about trying to do things in parallel which were originally scheduled one after the other. That is fast tracking. Both fast crashing and fast tracking will allow you to compress the schedule. Whenever you crash a particular activity, the cost of the activity will be higher. That means with one resource, if I can complete an activity in 10 days, then the total effort required is 10 person days. But if I put two resources into that activity, the duration will not be just half, it will be slightly above half. That means if I put two resources, this activity will take approximately slightly above 5, maybe 6 or 7 days. In that case, the effort required for that activity will become 2 into 6, which is 12. So if I try to complete that activity in 10 days with one resource, the cost will be 10% days. Whereas if I put 10% hours, then if I put two resources, it is going to be 12% hours. So the crash cost is always higher than the normal cost. So that should be understood. And sometimes we need a schedule management plan. Now, think of a project where multiple project managers are operating, and if there is no schedule management plan, they may end up using multiple different tools, and they may update the schedule as per their own whims and fancies, which makes the scheduling a cumbersome exercise. So it is always better to have a schedule management plan, which will tell you what type of scheduling tools to be used, when it should be updated, how many types of schedules to be done, who can update it, and what is the review frequency, and if there is slippage, now what is the procedure to update a schedule. So all these things need to be defined, otherwise it could be total mayhem. I'll be adding more videos because it's a very passionate subject for me, and without understanding uh, from work breakdown structure to critical path, and all the terminologies in between from a practitioner's perspective, my prayer is that okay, nobody should become a project manager because it is the crux of project management. And remember, you will get 45 questions starting from work breakdown structure to schedule. So this is the foundation of professional project management. So if you have not understood certain concepts, please make it a point to post all your queries as comments at the end of this session. Thank you very much.